you motherfucker! Sun shines. Alright, good morning party people. Well, it is hot as balls in this house. Welcome to Georgia in August. I've been home for about a week and a half from the summer trip I was on. But now it's time to make preparations, final preparations for Scotland. As of today, I leave for Edinburgh in 2 weeks. So I am beyond stoked. It is just playing the waiting game. Finally got the last couple pieces of my gear in the mail in the last couple days. So now I'm going to finally do a gear video for you. Now, a lot of this shit, if you see my gear videos in the past, I basically use the same setup on all these hikes. I do upgrade stuff, camera gear, and things that break down on my through hikes, but I'm under the mindset of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, yes, I do have to replace some things that get broken, but if it's working, if it's worked on a through hike, then I'm going to stick with that same model and stuff. So, I did get a couple new things, so we'll go over that, and this is probably going to be a long-ass video, so watch it in 2 parts. Grab a cup of coffee or something. So I'm going to take my sweetest time and go through all my gear that I'm going to be using on the Scottish National Trail here in 2022. So without further ado, let's go into everything I fucking own in this world. Alright, so I guess we'll start with clothing. Why the hell not? From bottom up, shoes I'll be rocking are the Lone Peak 6s by Ultra. I've used Lone Peak since the 2.5. We are now up to version 6. I did buy a brand new pair before I hopped on the CNO this year. But hiking from basically Harper's Ferry to Pittsburgh, I pretty much used up those the lifeline of those shoes. So I did have to order a brand new pair for Scotland. So these are brand spanking new Ultra Lone Peak 6s. I did actually go down a half size. Normally on my through hikes I wear a 13 wide. I noticed I had a little too much wiggle room on that on this past trip I was on up in Maryland and PA. So I went down to 12.5 wide. These seems to be the sweet spot for me. So I'll rock these. This one pair of shoes should last me the whole Scottish National Trail. Socks. I usually rock 3 pair of socks. 2 pair of merino wool and 1 thick ass pair of smart roll socks, which I have had these for God knows how many years, probably 6-7 years. I found these in Grayson Highlands on a section hike, picked them up off the ground, and I've been using them ever since. So 3 pair of socks. To sleep in, I got some, these are the same Montbell leggings I wore on the CDT. They are pretty stretched out, worn out, but it's just to sleep in, so these do just fine. And then for hiking in, Outdoor Research shorts. These aren't the same exact model I use in the CDT. I think they've discontinued those, but basically the same thing. On the ones I use in the CDT, it had a back zip pocket on it. These ones have a front zip pocket right here. So, I mean, they're basically the same shorts, but these are extremely comfortable. They dry out quick. So that's what I'll be rocking. For shorts, as far as a shirt goes, this is a brand new shirt. I actually was going to wear this on the CNO and Allegheny, but I ended up picking up a couple new shirts along the way. But this is one I bought particular for Scotland, so we're going to rock it. This is a Columbia Silver Ridge shirt. Nice plaid to blend in with the Scottish folks, so I might as well wear plaid. No, I will be not wearing a kilt like many of you assume I will be. I'll at least have a plaid shirt to wear while I'm hiking. Mid-layer, sleeping layer, whatever. This is a Light Heart Gear, their version of a Melly, I guess. This is what I've been rocking on the CNO and Allegheny this summer. It's basically like a Melly. It's very comfortable, and I still have my Melly. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just bought this one, so I might as well continue to use it. So I'll sleep in this one when it's cold, or I'll wear it when it's like, you know, windy and stuff in the Highlands. I'll rock that if I get too chilly. Gloves, I'm not sure if I'll need them. Maybe towards the end of the hike once I get up in the Highlands and it's cold and rainy and all that shit. I just have some camo liner gloves I use for my wildlife photography, so I'll carry those. And then for insulating layer, this is an Outdoor Research down jacket. I can't remember the model on it. I bought this when I was at Mountain Crossings. I was going to carry on the CDT, but then I got a mad discount on a Montbell one when I was working at that outfitter, so I picked up that one. So this jacket basically is brand new. I bought a medium. Unfortunately, I probably should have bought a large. I'm kind of like in between a medium and a large, so this is a little snug, but it's just a town jacket or maybe sleeping when it's really cold, but I don't foresee me having to sleep in this thing, mainly when I'm just dicking around town in Edinburgh and Glasgow maybe when I finish the hike. So love this jacket, nice and warm. Rain gear, I have the same rain pants that I used on the CDT. I've been picking these up at a random ass outfitter in Colorado. These are more of a warm thing for my legs when it's cold and raining. It's warm rain, I just wear shorts, but if it's cold, I like to keep something on my legs just for warmth. So I do rock the rain pants. Rain jacket, this is basically brand new. This is a Patagonia one. Yeah, I've always been under the impression since the AT to not skimp on rain gear, especially going to Scotland when it rains a shit ton. I rocked the lightweight rain jacket on the AT, and I shredded 2 of them, I think. I don't know. If they're going to get shredded, then what's the point of being lightweight? That's the way I look at it. I don't care about the weight, really. So this is a nice heavy-duty Patagonia rain jacket, and I'm going to rock that. I'll probably get a shit ton of use out of this in Scotland. And then as far as on my head goes, this is the same buff I wore in the CDT. This is an Appalachian Trail buff. It is pretty stained up. I need to wash it. But that's what I'll rock on my head. Sunglasses. These are Smith Optic. What's the model on these things? The Guide's Choice. They're not cheap, but this is the first expensive pair of sunglasses I bought that I've actually held on to for a while. I rocked these the whole CDT in this past summer, so absolutely love these Smith Optic glasses. So not that I probably won't need these a hell of a lot in Scotland, but I'm going to carry them anyway. And then the infamous I Love Hiking hat. A lot of you noticed I wore this thing all summer long. Like, where's your I Love Hiking hat? I Love Hiking hat. Well, as you can see, maybe, this thing is shredded to all hell. It's basically, I don't know. It's more of a sentimental thing. Obviously, I have my Triple Crown buttons on there. And I have a lot of sentimental value with this hat. So I'm going to basically wear this thing until it disintegrates off my head. So we will try to get at least one more hike out of this damn hat. And I believe that is all my layers. All right, let's go over the pack now. Hyperlight Mountain Gear Junction 3400. This is a brand new pack. Well, I carried this summer, but the one on the CDT pretty much got shredded, so I'm getting a new one. I've used these packs since the AT. I absolutely love them. I did use the Wind Rider on Wind Rider on the AT and PCT, I believe. Switched to the Junction for the CDT. It's basically the same pack. The only difference is on the Wind Rider, the mesh back here is the same as the water bottle pockets. On the Junction, they use mesh for the outer pocket, and then the water bottle pockets are cloth material. But absolutely love this pack. I will continue to use it. It's just very comfortable on me, even with all the weight I do carry as far as camera gear goes. The only accessories I carry on there is a Hyperlight Mountain Gear phone pouch, and then I use my Peak Designs capture clip on the other shoulder strap to hold my camera as I'm hiking and not using it. I do keep a garbage bag liner, a contractor bag inside. I'm very anti-stuff sack. I don't like it. I don't care about the organization. I've developed a system over the past 4 years where I know where my shit is, and this thing's pretty much waterproof as is. It's just for the essentials I need to keep dry. I keep a contractor bag in there, i.e. for my sleeping bag and sleeping clothes and things like that, because hypothermia is a bitch. All right, that is the pack. Sleeping wise, let's move my camera over so you can see this a little bit better. This is a new quilt by Jax Are Better. They're out of Pennsylvania. I happened to meet these guys at Trail Days this year when I was there for the weekend, and they said, hey, we'll hook you up with a new quilt for Scotland. So I'm all about that free shit life because I'm broke as fuck. So they actually delivered this in the mail a couple days ago, so it's brand new. This is how much of a hobo I am. I've been here in this house now, back where I was in Georgia, for like a week and a half. I've been sleeping on the ground, on the carpet. And this is my bed. I haven't made my bed since this morning, so I've been sleeping on the carpet in this setup. So it's quite nice. Well, I'm sure it'll do just fine in the Scottish Highlands. This is a 20-degree down bag. Got the black on the outside and orange on the inside in case I happen to be stranded. This is more of a signaling thing for if I do get stranded. But yeah, it's gonna be warm as shit. It's basically like my Enlightened Equipment one. It's got the loops on the side in case you want to strap it to your pad, which I don't use, so these are pretty much useless for me. I might cut them off. And then you have one button up top to cinch it around your neck. This button's in here like this, and then it's got a toggle right there so you can cinch it up around your neck. That's the whole idea of quilts. You can open them up if you want to. You can cinch them up if you need to. I like the closed foot box. He sewed the foot box for me just because if it is cold, I need to keep my batteries warm. I'll keep them charged. So I stuff a lot of shit down on my foot box at night, and I don't need them falling out. So I like the closed foot box for that. But this is, I'm a warm sleeper, so 20 degrees seems to be more than enough of what I need for all conditions, except for like winter backpacking, which I don't do a hell of a lot of. But for 3 season, this is more than enough that I'll ever need. As far as the pad, this is brand new. I have had a horrible experience with sleeping pads ever since I started hiking. I'm just rough on them. I don't know. I punched a hole. The one I used on the CDT, I was gonna carry again, but I patched it 4 or 5 times now, and there's more holes in it. I just said fuck it, so I splurged and got a new sleeping pad. This is a Nemo Quasar, I believe. It's kind of got a concave design to it, so you kind of sit right in the middle and it kind of hugs you a little bit, which I like. Perfect for me. I'm a side sleeper. I'm hopefully this one will last all of Scotland. It does come with a patch kit, so I have that if need be, but hopefully this thing lasts the whole trail. And then because I'm a dipper, I get acid reflux a lot. I have to keep my head elevated at night when I sleep, so this is the same pillow I used on the CDT. It does have a hole in it somewhere. I need to throw it in the bathtub today and find that hole and patch it up, but this keeps my head elevated so I don't get acid reflux at night. And it's pretty stained up, stinks like a motherfucker, but we'll continue to use it for Scotland as long as I can find that hole and patch that up. So that is my sleeping setup. All right, the tent I'm going to be using. Same tent I used, the same model I've used the past 2 through hikes, but this is a brand new one for the most part. I used the duplex on, this is Zpax duplex by the way. I used the Zpax duplex on the AT when I first started through hiking. I am shredding that one by Virginia. So I am switching to a Hyperlight one on the PCT, and then missed this thing so much I went back to it for the CDT. The one on the CDT I used held up the whole way. I was quite impressed with it. In all weather conditions, snow, rain, sleet, heat in the desert, all that stuff held up just fine. For a through hike, I don't expect these tents to last more than a through hike, especially thousands of miles. So I have no problem replacing these things. People are like, well, how can you spend $600 on a tent? Well, when you look at the big picture of things, this is my house, okay? This is a lot cheaper than most rent you'll pay in a town I'm using for 6 months. So $600 a month for 6 months rent is pretty fucking cheap. Granted, I did get this one for free. Thank you, Zpax. Zpax I ran into, talked to those guys at Trail Days this past year, and they knew I was going to Scotland, and so it's free advertising for them because I know I do YouTube. So the perks of being a YouTuber, I guess, but I love this tent, and I have no problem promoting it on my YouTube channel. So thank you, Zpax, for this tent. This is the one I rocked all summer long on the CNO in Allegheny, and this is the one I will rock in Scotland. Tent stakes, I keep them in this Ziploc bag. Some are being used out of my photo blind right now, but I generally use mini groundhogs are my favorite, MSR mini groundhogs. I do have a couple bigger MSR groundhogs. Sometimes I use these for the main guy outlines that use the trekking poles to set them up. And then I have a couple of these random ass ones, the spike ones. I don't know what to call them, but I have a couple of those. It takes 8 to set up the duplex. I generally carry 9 or 10 just in case I lose one or break one. So those are my tent stakes. To set up my tent, I use trekking poles. Well, that's how the Zpax works. These are black diamond ones. These are brand new. I used for this past summer's hike. And I still have my old CDT ones over there, but I did break a tip on them. There's nothing really wrong with them, but again, I like upgrading gear when I beat the hell out of these things. So these are brand new ones. Same model I used on the CDT. Black diamond, alpine cork light handle poles, I think they're called. I can't remember exactly what the name is, but I like the cork handles mainly because they absorb sweat a little bit more. But I do carry a little bit of duct tape around one for repairs. I also carry repair tape, cubic fiber repair tape for my tent, but the duct tape works for a lot of other repairs. But yeah, I don't hike with these. I think it's a hell of a lot. Mainly when I'm just going uphill or steep downhills is when I use these things. They're a tool for me, so if I don't need to use them, I generally don't use them. But yep, I need them to set up my tent, so I carry them. Umbrella. I'd probably be stupid not to carry this thing in Scotland because it rains so much, but this is the same one I carried on the CDT. I was happier I carried an umbrella the whole way on the CDT. Even though hiking with it is kind of a pain in the ass, especially when it's windy, it becomes pretty much useless because it can revert, break, it's just all over the place. But on the CDT in Wyoming, especially the Great Basin, being able to use this thing to sit down and take a break and get under a little bit of shade was nice. I'm probably gonna do the same thing in Scotland. I don't mind hiking in the rain if it's not that cold, but if I want to sit down and take a lunch break or something and it's pissing and I don't have a tree to get underneath, having this just to get underneath and take a break is quite lovely. It weighs, it's light as shit, so I will carry an umbrella in Scotland. All right. Let's go over my food and water setup. I don't hang my food. People ask all the time about bears and all this other shit. Unless I'm in grizzly country, I don't hang my food. I sleep with my food, okay? I'm too fucking lazy to do it, for one, and I don't want to, when I'm groggy in the morning, I don't want to be hiking 70, 80 paces to go get my coffee in the morning. I just keep the shit in my pack, okay? Like I said, grizzly country is a whole different story, but what am I going to get attacked by in Scotland? Fucking Scottish Highland cattle? No, I don't think so. So, sleep with my food. This is the Zpax Food Bag. No rope because I don't hang it. So, this is more than enough for volume for 5 days of food, which I don't foresee having to carry more than 5 days on the Scottish National Trail. For cooking, same pot I use in the CDT. This is the Toaks Titanium 750 mug. Do carry this because the lid is not secure on there, so I need that stuff sack to keep the lid on. Inside I carry a pack towel, and then my lighter and my stove I keep in the pouch just to keep water off of it, or coffee residue off of it. But this is the Optimus Crux Light. Do dig this stove. It's worked well. I use this stove on the CDT, and it did just fine. So that's my cooking setup. Long handle spoon. This is a which one is this? This is made by Toaks as well. There's a couple other companies that use them, but long handle spoon is pretty much a necessity, especially for if you get those freeze dried bags. So reaching down on them, you're not getting fucking shit all over your knuckles. As far as water goes, Sawyer Squeeze. This is a brand new one I used this past summer. I've used the micro before. The micro's fine. I used on the PCT to get clogged quicker. I've never used the mini. I've heard too many nightmare stories about it. I don't like fucking filtering water. It's just a pain in the ass. You need to do it, but I hate doing it. So I'm not dealing with the mini. I'm not saving weight on struggling to filter water. So I get the full-size Sawyer. And then bags, I've talked mad shit about this past summer. This is a Cnac Bag. I'm going to use it just because it's mainly just for water storage and to filter water. That's it, okay? I don't like the whole how flimsy it is. I'd rather just use bottles. But my pack is already jam-packed, especially the water bottle pocket, so I can't carry multiple bags. This thing does roll down to nothing, so just for filtering water and water storage for camp, I can stuff this in my pack. It takes up very little room. This is a 2-liter bag, so that's what I'll use. I don't have one with me at the moment, but I will get a 1-liter smart water bottle or a 1.5-liter bottle. That'll give me more enough capacity of like 3.5 liters for Scotland. That's all I'll carry. More times than not, I'll probably only need 1 liter at a time, so that'll save some room in my pack for my other things I carry. All right. Well, now let's move on to the camera gear. My favorite thing to talk about. Okay. The main reason I will never be an ultralight hiker is because of all this behind me right here. This is my camera gear. It is a lot of weight, but yes, you can get away with filming with your phone. When I talk about my camera gear, this is a passion of mine, okay? Photography and video. I just absolutely love doing it. It's my main passion in life other than hiking. Luckily, they go hand in hand. So I am one of those crazy assholes that is willing to carry all this camera gear. But don't take this as you need all this stuff to vlog a through hike, obviously, okay? Dixie used a fucking phone on most of her hikes, so what does that tell you? All right, so my main shooter. This is my Sony a7 IV full frame camera. Love this thing. Now I use the a7 III on the PCT and CDT. Awesome camera, but I've been waiting for this one to be released for years. This is the one I used on this past summer on the CNO in Allegheny. It's basically the same setup as my a7 III. The main difference, there are some other differences obviously, but the main difference for me, actually I'm filming with it now, well I can't show you, but the a7 IV So this is my A7 III, right? It just has this tilt screen, and the A7 IV has a flip out screen. So I can see myself when I'm filming, when I'm vlogging like this. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to see myself, to know that I'm in focus and composed right and all that stuff. So my A7 IV, which I'm filming with now, has a bigger megapixel count for photos, so I can crop in a little bit easier when I'm editing and not lose a hell of a lot of detail. But I still love my A7 III here. I have this as a backup camera. The lens I carry on my camera 90% of the time on these through hikes is my 16 to 35 wide angle lens with a ND filter on it. The main reason using the ND filter, you have to think of it as sunglasses for your lens. When you're filming, this is a lot of camera jargon, but basically the reason you use this thing is for film, you shoot over 1/50th of a second for video, okay? It's the most, when you get motion blur, it's the most natural way to see things, okay? But when you shoot that shutter speed, it's letting so much light in that if I'm shooting wide open at a wide aperture, you need to tone that light down to so it's not blowing out behind you. So that's why I use an ND filter. I do use the ND filter also for long exposure photography. If I'm shooting waterfalls, I want moving water, clouds, things like that, I throw this on there for photos as well. But 16 to 35 is the main lens I do use. The only other lens I will be carrying in Scotland is my 70 to 200. That gives me a range of 16 millimeters all the way up to 200. As much as I want to carry my 200 to 600 wildlife lens, it just weighs too goddamn much. For wildlife, maybe you get lucky and one's close enough to where you can get a nice wildlife shot with this lens. And for wide open vistas, if you want to zoom in on mountain peaks, this thing is more than enough for that. So I'm going to keep it a little bit more minimal this year and just carry the two lenses. On CDT, I also carried the one I'm filming with now is my 20 millimeter 1.8 for astrophotography. By the time I get to Scotland, the Milky Way season in the UK is pretty much over with. So I'm not going to bother doing that for maybe using it once, maybe twice to get a Milky Way shot. So I'm just going to go with the two lenses, and hopefully that's sufficient for me for the whole trip. And I do carry one other camera, two other cameras actually, my drone being one of them. This is the same drone I carried on the CDT. This is the DJI Mini 2. I absolutely love it. The controller is actually bigger than the drone. As you can see, the drone's no bigger than my iPhone, but the controller is a little bit bigger. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. They did come out with the Mini 3 Pro. I was gonna buy it, but it's been on back order for a long time, so I wasn't able to get it before my Scotland trip. So this one's gonna have to suffice. The main reason I wanted to upgrade to the Mini 3 is because it has the ability to shoot in portrait mode. The gimbal can rotate portrait. If I'm doing reels or YouTube shorts and things like that that are shot in portrait orientation, it does that. This I'll just have to crop it too if I'm going to do reels for you guys. I do carry extra propellers for it. But this thing, if you watch my CDT footage and the footage from this summer, this is the drone I use, so it does just fine. I don't think there's any drone restrictions in Scotland from the research I've done. So I carry this little carrying case, keeps it protected. The other last camera I do carry, I'm going to carry is my GoPro Hero 10. I've talked mad shit about GoPros in the past. The last one I did use for any sort of hiking was the GoPro 5 I used on the AT, ended up losing it. And I just never got another GoPro after that. They've made a lot of upgrades to the GoPros over the years, the last 5 versions, mainly the front-facing screen, and the audio is a little bit better. I do carry some dead cats I've glued on there to help with wind noise, but this little selfie stick I carry goes out like this, and then it's got a built-in tripod on it as well. Might use this for time lapses and vlogging with it if it's raining. So, speaking of rain, that was probably a Weather Channel notification. We're supposed to get rain here in Georgia today, but I will use this thing when it's raining and for time lapses. Okay, batteries. I carry a shit ton of them as much as I film. GoPros are notorious for not for terrible battery life, so I've got one in my camera here. I'm carrying 4 extras. And then for my Sony, I carry one in the camera, and I got 2 extra batteries. The Sony batteries last a lot bit longer. I can usually get at least a day and a half of filming all day long, photographing all day long out of a battery, so I carry 3. It's usually more than enough to get me to the next town. A little trick I picked up over the years, because I carry so many batteries to know which ones are charged and which aren't charged. I've got hair ties. You can use rubber bands. I put a hair tie around the charged ones, and then when I take it off to use it, I know that one's dead. So I can keep track of which batteries are charged and which ones aren't charged. Little tool I use here. This is a Peak Designs one. Came with my tripod, which I'll show you in a minute, to tighten my tripod, and my capture clip that I keep on the bottom of my camera. I can tighten that thing because it does get loose over time. Speaking of tripods, I'm carrying a full-size tripod. I carried this thing as a test run this past summer to see if I was willing to carry it. This thing weighs about 2.5 pounds, I think, but it's carbon fiber, Peak Designs travel tripod. It goes down, the thickness of it is no bigger than my water bottle, Nalgene bottle, so I can put it in my water bottle pocket. And it does go up to 60 inches. So the center column on it, I can bring it up and then shoot in portrait orientation as well. This thing is very well thought out, and actually on 2 of these now. So I absolutely love this tripod, and this is what I will carry on the Scottish National Trail. It's nice to have a full-size tripod after using one this past summer, so I can get a little bit more variety of shots. When I've used the small tabletop ones in the past, yes, they work, but if you're in high, tall grass and you just can't set it up everywhere, you have to get it up on things, rocks and stumps and whatnot. This allows me to set it up pretty much anywhere and get the composure I want for the shot I want. So I am willing to carry the weight on that thing. Little odds and ends here. Other batteries, I carry 3 drone batteries. When you buy a DJI Mini, comes with this little, if you buy a Fly More kit, comes with this little charging brick. You can use this as a battery bank as well. But I get about 30 minutes of flight on good weather days out of one battery. I carry 3 of them, so ideal weather conditions, I usually I can get an hour and a half of battery flight time on my drone. Other battery bank I carry, this is a brand new one I bought while I was out on my summer trip. This is an Anchor. I've always used Anchor banks. This is a 26,000. It's heavy as shit. It weighs probably over a pound, but because I film so much, I need it to charge my stuff if need be. So I do carry the big old brick to charge my camera if I need it, cell phone, things like that, my iPad, whatnot. Speaking of iPad, I am carrying an iPad Pro. I've carried a Mini on the PCT and CDT for all my editing, but I am going to carry an iPad Pro this year only because the screen is a hell of a lot better on the iPad Pro. It does way more, obviously, but for photo editing, this is ideal. I have the pen right here, so it's a lot easier to edit with. Now, as far as video goes, I probably will not edit video until I get home from the trip. I'm only going to be there like 30 days. So rather than stressing about storage space and all that stuff, I'm going to bring this to edit photos with, and that's it. And then when I get home, I'll edit all the videos to release them for you. But I'll be carrying my iPad Pro for photo editing. Phone-wise, I'm carrying my iPhone 12 Pro, same one I carried on the CDT. And then for plugs, I have all the cords, obviously, for that. The one thing I did have to pick up for this trip was a converter for UK plugs. It's different than the US, so this is just a conversion where I can plug in my US plug into that, and it'll work in wall plugs in the UK. Speaking of storage, I have a Rugged case, it's called, to carry all my SD cards. I have a shit ton of storage. I have 256 gig cards, 7 128 gigs, and I have 4 64 gigabyte cards. So it's a shit ton of storage, but I tend to use all these on a Thru in Scotland. I'm going to be taking a shit ton of video and a shit ton of photos, so I'm carrying all my SD cards for that. For backing things up, do I have it with me right now? I don't think I have it with me. I got them over there, but I do have a external hard drive. I'm going to carry as well 1 terabyte so I can back up all this stuff because I'm paranoid, especially for this trip. It's a trip of a lifetime, so I want to have redundancy as far as backing up footage and photos. So I'm carrying an external hard drive where I can back up all my photos every night and my video every night. So I have a copy of each one. So God forbid I lose an SD card fails on me, I have a backup of that footage and photos to come home to the States with. All the electronics I have here is some of the same Petzl Bindi headlamp I carried on CDT. I don't use this a hell of a lot, mainly just in my tent. I do a lot of night hiking. And then for in the past, for photo editing or video editing, I use my AirPods Pro. Since I won't be editing video on this trail, this is probably just music in my tent at night to wind down with, or if I get bored on trail, which I don't foresee me doing, to listen to podcasts or music as I'm hiking. Only other accessory I'm probably going to carry, I haven't decided fully on this yet, but is my Peak Designs shoulder strap. this would be for when I'm in town. I plan on being a tourist as long as I have the money for it, for about a week when I finish the hike, to go to Glasgow or back to Edinburgh and be a tourist. So just walking around town with my camera, this will come in handy. So it doesn't weigh a hell of a lot. I might as well just pack it and have it for when I complete my trip. I can walk around and be the fucking tourist with a camera around my shoulder and take photos of the castles and around town and whatnot. I believe that is all my gear, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said before, it's basically the same setup I carried the last few years, just upgrades here and there. But hopefully this gear will suffice on my 540 mile trek across Scotland this year, which I leave in 2 weeks. I am beyond stoked. I hope you guys enjoy the videos when I get back. I'll probably end up doing my daily vlog stuff like normal, but I want to do like a 4-part series, 3-part series, whatever, of really good short film type style video after the fact, so you have both to watch. And I'll have all the time in the world when I get back to edit all that really good for you. So if you have any questions, drop them below. Send me a DM on Instagram, Saved by Mountains. I will probably upload photos to Instagram while I'm out there. Like I said, the videos will come after the fact, but to give you guys something to watch when I'm actually hiking, I will update my Instagram, as well as probably put out some YouTube shorts and a lot of reels for you on Instagram. So you have something to watch while I'm out there hiking, and then hopefully the wait will be worth it when I get home and I can have some time to edit all this stuff really good for you. So that is the plan. All right, well, I'm gonna go out, sit on my photo blind, take some pictures of the birds, and hopefully the deer this evening. I had a nice 4-point roll through the front yard last night. Unfortunately, I wasn't out there in my blind at the time. Go figure. So hopefully I can get some pictures of the bucks coming in tonight. All right, mofos, that's it. We'll leave you there. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. We'll holler at you fuckers next time. All my bones are dislocated.